I'm so fucking ready.
Okay. Hello, lore heads, and welcome to the League, exploring the League of Legends lore from A to Z. My name is Rebecca.
And I'm John.
My name is Mark.
Today we're talking about the Charmer Rakan and the Rebel Xayah, who were both released April 19th, 2017. We decided to just do them both.
Twofer.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was cool, right?
Yeah.
I figured we would talk about like Rakan and Xayah, and then when we got to her, maybe we might do Xayah and Rakan, or I don't know, like... Are we just going to double it up?
We're going to hope that maybe they'll have more content by the time we get to X.
Yeah, maybe that.
They'll
right?
have more skins, for sure.
Yeah.
By then, come on.
They've got it, right?
Rakan's already got 2 world skins. Like, come on. They're going to have more.
We'll find out.
We also have a very special guest for this episode. Lack, would you care to introduce yourself and tell the world why you decided to join us for this episode?
Hello, everybody. I'm Lack of Reality. You can also just call me Lack. I've been a well listener for a while now. Since, I listened to all the episodes. Just glad to be on here. And I picked Rakan and Xayah because my main 2 champions are Warwick and Xayah, and those are far down in the line. So I was like, but Rakan's kind of close, and he's with Xayah, so...
Honestly, even if we weren't doing both, we would end up just talking about her entire lore anyway. It's just so tight in.
Yeah. It is true. Yeah.
They're so close.
Yeah. And with
they should get married,
right?
Yeah, and with Xayah specifically, I will unashamedly admit my intense attraction to goth girls.
Oh yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
What, no Vex love? Come on.
Big feathered goth girls?
John.
It's like Rakan's the guy I want to be, and Xayah's the girl I want to be with.
Aww.
But I'm really a moo-moo on the inside.
Damn.
Your voice really lent itself to that. I'm so sorry.
All good in the hood.
Maybe you'll end up finding more of a Rakan. She'll look like a hot goth girl, but she'll be like.
Yeah.
I mean, Vex is the perfect goth girl for a muumuu.
That's true.
You want a manic pixie goth girl? Okay, yeah, all right.
Or the look of goth girl Xayah, but like the personality of like Lux. So
there
it's
you
like
go.
the bubbly goth girl.
The Wednesday and Enid combined.
Yes.
Literally Wednesday on the outside, Enid on the inside.
That's beautiful. I
don't watch that show, so.
God, get the fuck out of here,
Fucking
Mark.
normie.
It's been out for like a month now. What's wrong with you? What do you have, a baby? All right.
Now, what do Xayah and Rakan sound like? I wrote down a paired quote for us, so we'll have to go last.
Oh, okay.
Lack, do you want to try and do a paired quote just off the cuff? I don't remember any.
That would be so cute.
Well, as tempting as that is, I've been practicing my Rakan just because I have one specific quote that's just so fun to hear and to say.
There you go.
Especially, I'm a TFT enjoyer, so this is the one sound I always hear when Rakan's in the set and he gets a victory. He goes, "Ba-doodle-bop-bop-ba-doodle-bow."
That was perfect. I know exactly what noise you mean now.
That's a good one.
John spams that. That was good.
All right, let's see. Since you did Rakan, so I'll do Xayah, but I did not prepare a Xayah quote, but I know she has one where she's like, was it? Tons of women love Rakan, like they know what to do with him.
Yeah, yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
It's
Which
beautiful.
I didn't even like try an impression. It's just like my own voice.
That was just Mark. That was just Mark.
I was trying to just remember the line. I had a lot of trouble in this episode. I had trouble remembering how to clap. Like, it's just...
I did pick out
I thought it was beautiful.
A Xayah quote, if you'd like me to read it. It's the...
Yes.
I gotta find it.
Yes.
Yes.
It's her pentakill quote.
Oh shit! I've never heard that in my
Right.
life.
Neither have I, but it's what was on the wiki, and it's very funny. Almost there.
Take your time.
There is no pentakill quote. No one's ever gotten a pentakill with Xayah before, actually.
Attacking.
I feel like I've been against a lot of Xayahs that have accidentally pentakilled our team by like
Just hitting
just
E.
pulling the feathers
Yeah.
back. Fuck.
Oh, right here. Wait, let me listen to it for a second. Hooray! They all died.
She's so cute.
All right, hit us with it, hon.
I hate everybody today.
I know what'll make you feel better.
Murdering
everyone. I forgot that I was part of that last bit
Yeah, it's
too.
okay.
That's
That was a good one, though.
We're all on point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John and I, we've kind of made Xayah and Rakan a little bit of our lives. I don't know. We used to play them a lot in the bot lane. We have a frame photo of them above our marital bed.
It's true facts.
When you push the beds together, no. It did make me think. I was thinking about it. It's like I remember during the one where we were answering questions, and you're like, "Oh, what champion are y'all?" I didn't think of it then, but I was like, "Oh yeah, Xayah, Rakan, like
Yeah.
you two for sure."
I don't know how we missed it. I was reading Rakan's stuff, and I was like, why did we pick Ezreal for John? John's Rakan.
Yeah, I can definitely
rhyme.
agree with John as Rakan with rhymes.
He just has more fashion sense than I do.
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure.
I just
Yeah.
don't know if Rebecca is as gloomy as Xayah.
You've got the sardonic, dryness.
Yes,
Yeah.
I can be. I'm certainly pessimistic like Xayah, whereas you're much more optimistic. But I feel like I've got a little bit of Rakan, and you've got a little bit of Xayah
I
sometimes.
got a little bit of Xayah.
Yeah.
Just like how they have the little trinkets with each other.
Oh,
my
that's true.
Truly. Well, so combined, they both have a bio and the video Wild Magic. Rakan has 3 short stories linked, while Xayah has 4. I don't know why one of them isn't linked on Rakan's.
Yeah.
They're both a
should
part
be.
of all of them. Yeah, I think someone made an oopsie and they forgot. I don't know what happened.
Nah, well, we read them all, folks.
I could do the Rakan bio if we want.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Would you actually do the?
Rakan. Oh, what?
Would you do the
You wanna
Xayah
do
one?
Xayah
'Cause
first?
I only have the
Oh.
notes for Rakan. I will say
Oh, okay.
Shoot.
I did
'Cause
emphasize Rakan in
my
my notes more.
My Xayah notes are basically a lot of it's similar to the Rakans, and then I just kind of I just wrote down like what's different about hers compared to Rakan's because there's a lot of overlap.
Yeah, I mean, it's the bio was the big thing that I don't have notes for.
So you only have Rakan's bio.
Yeah,
Do you have any short story notes?
I have. I do.
Okay. you
It's
can
literally
do
just
those.
Xayah's bio that I don't have. I think.
Oh, that's fine. I'll do both the bios, and you can do the short
Okay,
stories. Yeah?
cool.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, Rakan was a normal Cyan in Ionia. He's part of the. Oh, your guys are gonna have to help me out here.
Nope.
Nope.
Lotlin. Lotlan.
She pronounced it Lotlan.
Why would you ask me?
Lahotlan, maybe? Lahotlan?
No, I have no fucking clue how this is pronounced.
You're speaking over Lack. What was that? I'm
No,
sorry.
you're good. I said a Lahotlan.
Lahotlan.
Oh, I like that emphasis on the H.
El Hotlan.
El Hotland.
L A Ryan.
Can you try to Lack a little bit more, by the way? I think you can.
Maybe.
You can, yeah. Yeah, we got space there. All right, crank it up. Okay, anyway.
200% now.
Lahotlan tribe in Kulin. I think Kulin.
So good.
Kulin. Anyway, Magic, very active here. and the human lands outside of their home were seen as, and quoting here, an unforgiving desert. When Rakan was born, the tribe was declining, but he stayed positive. Rakan believed if mortals could see how beautiful the magic of their land was, they would stop expanding into their territory and breaking all their treaties and being overall terrible.
Does that make
His
sense?
tribe,
Silly Rakan.
I know. He was considered a human sympathizer, so he left, hoping to spread love for his people through song and dance. Rakan wasn't really doing very well. His dances were great, but people just kind of saw him as entertainment and not really listening to what he was trying to say. And then he met Xayah, who was unimpressed by his sexiness. She informed him that the Lahotland had lost the rest of their land, which pissed Rakan off, which really got Xayah going. That's what did it. She told him she was part of a rebellion to take back what their people lost, so Rakan begged to join her. The rest of the bio kind of describes how Xayah and Rakan kind of see each other. It goes on for a while. Their ways of battling and how they work together, how they fell in love. And while they still disagree about mortals a bit, Rakan still believes some of them aren't so bad. While Xayah does not. Does not like any mortals. They're still working together to help Lahotland. Jesus.
It sounds so Scottish when you say it like that.
Yeah.
Lahotland.
You might be adding an extra L in there. Like you're saying Lahotland.
I thought there was a... Is it Is there no other L?
No, there is.
There's two. Yeah.
Okay.
Lahan.
No, I don't think you're doing it right.
I'm pretty confident about that.
I don't know what sounds right, but that ain't it. All right.
Anyway, that's Rakan's bio.
Yeah.
Let me just say, immediately, like, a really great, like, marriage of story and gameplay. Like, just reading his bio, his gameplay, like, came across... Like, that's exactly what it's like to play him, which was very fun. They did a really good job with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the case throughout any story that he's in particular. I can just really... It really lines up one-to-one. I mean, I think they were the last set of champions that was kind of being worked on before when I was still at Riot that I remember. And it seems like because they're so like immersed in like, okay, this is the thrust. The thrust is that they're together in this duo that like the narrative and the gameplay and like all this stuff was kind of like hand in hand the whole way through, instead of like other champions where it's like it feels like, okay, they did this part and then this other part came way later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Totally.
I appreciate him wanting to share the history of his people through like song and dance, but as someone who like has to listen to a song like a million fucking times before I hear the lyrics, I can see why it didn't work.
Yeah.
I get it.
I'll be singing along to a song and I have absolutely no idea what it's about. And then one day I'll be like, this is a really dirty song
I mean,
that I've been singing since I was 9 years old.
I mean, also, I mean, the whole Vestayan thing is very much a mirror of like, other cultures. So like, we have, I'm trying to think, they have like island dances and trying to think of like flamenco dancing. I see very much in Rakan. So I think like I like the way they made him like a song and dance champion without just like here's a Vestayan with a trumpet.
yeah,
Yeah.
honestly,
Although that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Give Rakan a trumpet now, Riot.
What are you trying to steal Bard's
Oh, shit.
thunder?
You know what? Rakan's more of a saxophone guy.
I was just about
He's
to
That's
say
true.
100%
Sexy sax man.
Saxophone and castanets. That's what fucking Rakan plays.
I don't know what that
Castanets.
second one was, but...
Those
Are those
the
a little
flamenco
finger-
dancer things.
Oh!
totally.
Oh my god.
That's what those are called.
But like, you are completely right. It's a really smart way too, because like this is the first time. God, we are like this far in, and this is the first time this whole conflict is getting any play whatsoever. But he's a smart one to kind of do that with, I guess I would say. Like I find him more interesting than Xayah almost.
Yeah.
He's got more like not outgoing necessarily, but he's like a much more bombastic personality.
Definitely.
Like, I
He's just
feel
more
like a lot of,
entertaining.
yeah, and a lot
That's
of
his
I
shtick.
feel like a lot of his shit is very outward facing. I feel like Xayah's shit is going on in her head a lot, and Rakan
That's
is
certainly
just
true.
fucking out there.
Yeah, they both champions like their personalities and even their gameplay mirrors each other so well. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like before I did the lore read for I thought that Rakan was kind of just a pompous asshole and Xayah was the like brooding like mean girl. I don't know, but I definitely see like, also I thought like they're just kind of like, I don't even like, very like over romanticized, but like you can actually see how they are a real couple. Like, they seem so genuine and they're written very well. But I'll
Are.
expand that more
Yeah.
when we get to the stories.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
It's tough. Like, that's a tough balance to get right, and I think they did a really good job with these two.
Again, I'm sure because they were put together as a package, right? Like, instead of 10 champion releases later, they're like, oh, let's give someone a Rakan or a Xayah, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, in this, I feel like in this story specifically, and I'm sure other places too, but it stuck out more in this one. The Vastaya remind me so much of the fucking demi-humans from Chrono Cross, where like in Chrono Cross, like the demi-humans are kind of like the Vastaya. They're scattered all over the archipelago, but then they're slowly pushed to a single island over time as humans kind of come and take over their land. And even on their own land, they're super distrusted, and then they slowly like lose access to the magic that their people have had for a long time. It's really like uncanny here. But I also
Interesting.
really love Chrono Cross. So
Yeah, I
just
mean,
bring it up.
you could also, say the mirroring of actual real life, like
Yeah.
colonization and loss
yeah.
of culture, rebellions and refugees.
Sure.
But
Yeah, I think there's a really clear, like almost
Yeah,
one-to-one comparison to draw there, right?
Yeah.
but
It is weird to me. I know the Vastayans are based out of Ionia. It is weird to me, this idea that the Ionians are so out of balance with the magic that the Vastayans use. I guess that's like, we see that's not necessarily as much the case. It kind of varies, like depending on who they're interacting with, I guess. But it was weird to me because it was like, that seems like if there's any one place where people are going to be like copacetic with the natural order of magic and things, it's going to be Ionia. You know what I mean? So it's kind of weird to me almost that.
Yeah, I didn't know that this was something that the people of Ionia were doing.
Yeah, and I had to look into them a lot more. I don't know how to pronounce these, so I'm going to murder this, but the Quinlons, we'll call them.
Yeah.
Quinlons, I was saying.
Quinlon, quinoa.
Quinoa, yeah.
The,
No.
Quinlong. Quinlong.
but like the majority of them are specifically set up to block, to like let through positive magic and then block like negative magic. I mean, negative from the perspective of a human, I guess, which would be like, if you had like tree spirits that were murdering people who settled on their land, I mean, a Vastayan would not consider that negative magic because that's nature telling you not to fuck it shit up. But, as a human, they're just wanting to settle. You could probably see that as negative. So most of them are just set up to block what they'd consider negative magic, whereas the ones that the Order of Shadow are setting up are very, very different and just fucking sucking up all the shit to farm ichor.
Sure.
Another thing.
Like
you go first.
I was just gonna say they're farming crypto is what they're doing. They're mining crypto, and they're taking all the Vestayan GPUs, man.
The Order of Shadow would have NFTs.
Oh man,
It's like
what a good fucking parallel.
each Shadow Ninja, it has its own unique markings. But no, like looking into Xayah and Rakan, it made me realize like Vestayans feel like a huge part of like the League of Legends lore and the world, but looking at the Vestayan champions, there's not that many. Like, and like Nami is separate, I feel, from like everything else, and like you don't really even consider her a Vestayan even though she's under that belt. And like Nico's literally the last of her tribe. I mean, we haven't gotten to Rengar or Wukong, but they're kind of similar in that, like, since Ahri, I feel like we've barely gotten anything about the Vestayans.
Yeah,
And,
seriously.
like,
And
it does.
even Ari, like I feel like a lot of her background lore we got from the Ruined King.
Yeah, she had amnesia, man. It's like
Classic amnesia.
Yeah.
But no, like, I mean, it does make sense that they're sparse because, like, or at least from a lore standpoint, because, they're not. What's the word I'm thinking of?
there's not a lot of them.
Endangered, I guess.
Mm.
They haven't been bred, or no, they haven't bared children in many it says in many lifetimes, so it makes sense that their population is dwindling. But come on, Riot, give us a new Vestayan champion. I swear to God, I'm not a furry.
I know.
Give us a baby Vestaya.
Ooh.
I guess we have Set. We
Nope.
haven't gotten to him yet.
That's true. But he's also probably doing his own fucking thing that's unrelated, right? Like, you had a really
I
good
think
point.
he's like, is he half the sign
Yeah, I
too?
think
Yeah.
he's half Vestayan, because isn't his mom not? I think his mom is human or something. I haven't
wow.
read
Yeah.
Set, but I just know he's a mama's boy.
That's
Yeah.
all I
Yeah,
know
I
about
know
Set
that
too.
Because he's an S champion.
Yeah.
No skipping.
He's a mama's boy,
Right.
and he had big punch.
He
He
has
does
big,
have
you
big
need?
punch.
big punch,
Mhm.
big abs.
But yeah.
Boy, like crunches.
I would also add that on top of that, we have champions like Lilia, who should probably be a Vestayan, who for some reason they just chose not to. And I will say
Yep.
also, like, I mean, that's frustrating enough, but it also feels like a big missed opportunity, because I think Lilia would be a great way to bridge, like, diplomatic relations between humans and Vestayan, because she looks into their dreams and kind of, like, is enamored with them. She could help Xayah not be so kill them all. I don't know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Gotta kill them all.
And I'm
Maybe.
Yeah,
Depending on which dream she's walking in, I guess.
yeah. And
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
Ionia is in general is like very spiritually connected to the spirit realm, but like it's also a big part of Vestayan culture too. So, like, there's no reason Lilia can't be a bridge between the spirit realm and, I mean, she's like dreams, but still, there's no reason there can't be a champion that has that bridge between the spirit realm and like the Vestaya.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Xayah's bio.
Yeah, we should get to that.
The beginning of Xayah's bio is very similar to Rakan's. There is mention of the tribal land growing smaller and how the Lahotlan ambassadors, here they're given a name though, Juloha.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
They're
a lot of names
I know.
in these
So
bios.
I'm like really sorry I'm butchering all of them. They're constantly betrayed after making treaties. There's also a mention of Xayah's father who sang about Vestayan heroes. You know, that's all that's mentioned about him. I thought that was going to be more important, so I'd written it down. This is the first place they mention the Quinlons, which are just they're the constructs that humans are making to kind of
inhibit magic.
the magic
They're like little magic dams.
in Ionia. Yeah. Blah.
Which, for the record, do we think that, like, we don't have a whole lot of information about Quinlons other than like the one in the cinematic is made from some sort of ruby material, they say, but like that's basically it about the material that this is made out of. Like, are we thinking that there's some sort of like petricite type connection here, or like Ionia has its very own magic inhibiting materials, or like it's not the material at all and they're special people for making this? How Quinlon work?
That's a good fucking question. I will say there in one of the stories, I want to say nothing wrong. No, piece of shadow cake. I think they talk about another one, and it seems to be just made of stone, not that ruby material. So I think they can kind of vary. But yeah, it's a good question. There's a lot of vagaries in regards to a lot of this stuff. I'm not as upset about it because it all culminates in feeling like we're setting up for like a big character arc with Xayah and whatnot, you know?
Yeah, and also I feel like Xayah and Rakan don't really know either. They just know they have a name for them and they know what they do, but we probably have as much information as they do about the Quinlons. Is kind of what
Yeah, how's your engine work, man? Someone knows,
hate it.
right?
Anyway, so Xayah was one of her people who said that the Lahotlands should fight back, but the majority of the Lahotlands hid until eventually their land was lost. Xayah became a freedom fighter, working alone to kill a lot of people. It's kind of what it's felt like in the bio. We get a little bit more about what she's doing in the short stories, but in the bio, it was just like, she likes some murdering. I'm like, okay. She works alone, thinking she works better alone, and then she meets Rakan. And the rest of the bio is just kind of her point of view in meeting Rakan, I would say.
Yeah.
Lone bird behavior.
Yeah.
Having watched a lot of Andor recently, big Andor vibes, and I fucking loved it.
Sure.
I also don't watch that show.
Sorry.
I love a good start of a rebellion story. That's like one of my in the zone spots for literature is just a good rebellion starting.
Yeah,
I don't even need to see how it ends up. I just like to see the formation.
Yeah,
Gets me going.
when I was listening to the store, or when I was reading / listening, because who likes to read? Bleh. No, but for real, when
Talking to the wrong crowd.
When I was going through the story, and every time I heard about the rebellions, I was just like, Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars.
Yeah. Have you watched Andor?
I have not. My mom
Dude.
is actually the biggest Star Wars fan, but I watched the original trilogy and most of the prequel and then the sequels, but that doesn't really count because they're just bleh.
I mean, I don't think this is a hot take at this point, but Andor, probably the best Star Wars content that's come out in the past decade. Yeah. Super fucking good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I remember the hype around the Mandalorian, but I never watched that because, like I said, my mom's a huge fan, so I thought I was gonna watch with her, but then people have other options, so they do those other options. We just didn't mesh schedules.
Also good though. Mandalorian also great. But yeah, I fucking loved Andor.
I will say I'm on the
Right in my
opposite.
sweet spot.
I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum from you, John, because I really like to see what happens when you're done rebelling and you have to actually lead. And I think that's where I'd like to see Xayah's story end up. That's because it's really easy where she's at now to kind of have this sort of really hard line, we ends justify the means, but what happens the longer you keep doing this and start becoming a proper leader, because I don't think that's tenable. And that's why I like Game of Thrones, is because it's all here's what happened after the rebellion, and here's how shit fell apart. So.
Well, yeah. Those are the bios.
Those are the bios.
Yeah.
And I'm going to let you guys maybe start the short stories. I'm going to go run and get a refill on my wine.
Oh, sure.
But I'll be right back. Don't. You can still discuss because we've still got the video running, so
Okay.
no dead air.
Oh, sure.
Okay. Damn. John doesn't come back for the rest of the episode.
See, John doesn't bring the bottle down like some people. Anyway, let's shit talk John now.
Man, that fucking guy.
John,
He's so nice. What an asshole.
More like trash.
Fucking nailed him.
All right, what do we
All right,
want to do first?
So there's 3 short stories. 2 of them are the same event, but from one's from Xayah's point of view and the other's from Rakan's point of view. They're both pretty short. I imagine those were their color stories when they came out.
I think so, yeah.
Yes.
The reason that I know is because in order to, hear the stories, because, I like to listen while I'm at my job, but they were the 2 stories that were from they were 6 years ago, but they were Necrit channel on Necrit's channel, and he did the reading of those, but he didn't do the one for the Shadow Cake. So
Piece of
It's
shadow
a
cake.
long one.
It's
I can
really
see why
long.
he didn't read it.
Yeah.
but no, those 2. Yeah, I listened to those, and I really liked it was the perfect way to do a Xayah Rakan story where they, if you had to do this type of story with, 2 champions, these are the champions to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely a good way to get to know them and their perspective on everything that's going on. But all the stories were really great. I liked all of them. I didn't realize Necrit read stories on his channel. That's cool.
Yeah, he does for a lot of them.
I've been thinking about reading color stories and putting them on our channel.
I
Sure,
I
yeah.
would
I don't think so.
definitely listen/watch those. So
Right? People would love it.
Thanks. But Necrit does it. He's probably better.
You have a great voice. I
Thank
will.
you.
also you don't.
Wait, like this.
Yeah.
I love Necrit videos, but you have a better reading stories voice. I'm
Damn,
just gonna say it.
Get fucked, Necrit. You're getting
Oh
dunked
my
on.
god, no.
He got that wine in him and he's popping off.
It really. He's married to me. He's biased. That's all.
Big
So yeah,
side
we're
note,
con to a T.
and this isn't really a spoiler, but there's a character in Ruination named Nunyo Necrit, but they only
that's
mention
great.
his last name of Necrit once, so I feel like that was kind of like a shout out. But
For sure.
He-
his
Yeah.
name is
He's a featured character in the Ruined King.
Oh yeah, he is. He is involved.
Nunyo, and all I can think of is Nunyo Business.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Nanya.
That's really cool though. Okay, so I guess we should do. Is it Pubo? Pubo? I always kept reading it as
Puba.
Phoebe.
You can't read it as Pubo.
Cannot
it
do that.
Can't be.
Why not? Pubo. Pubo. Prison break. Pubo.
Sounds
We've said the word pube too many times in the
Pubo. It's Pubo, not
I don't
Pubo.
know. Kind of just makes me think of Teletubbies.
tubby custard.
Is that that's not Tinky
Winky,
Winky, Tipsy,
See? No,
La La, and
Go
Pubo.
on.
Unsubscribe.
Yeah, please unsubscribe right now.
Tell us
Make
in
this
the
most dislike
comments.
video.
Tell us in the comments, what Teletubby are you?
That's gotta be a BuzzFeed quiz, right?
Right?
Yeah.
I'm the baby son.
Anyway,
Poe in the streets and Tinky Winky in the sheets.
God, we've got to get off Teletubbies. Rebecca's desperately trying.
I can't though. Can't get off them Teletubbies. God, I fucking hate Teletubbies. That son. Pubo.
Pubo prison.
The prison break.
The prison break. We'll just call it prison break. I'm calling
Sure.
it Pubo. Fuck you guys. By Matt Dunn. Yeah.
Did Matt Dunn write the bios too?
I don't know.
didn't
They were
check.
not credited.
Yeah, this is the one I didn't check. Was the bios. And this
I
one.
would
yeah.
This is like the one I didn't write down too.
It's okay.
Okay.
It's Riot's fault, not ours.
Yeah.
Don't worry. While you go over that, I'll look this up.
Already ahead of you.
Don't
Okay.
wait for me.
Well, Rakan's story is nothing rhymes with tube bow. And if the
It's-
joke is that Pubo does tube
Yeah.
bow, Pubo, I'm right, and you guys
You were
suck.
absolutely right. Yeah.
Thank you.
So what happened? So do you want me to summarize it? Or
Yeah,
you
go
wanna-
on, go for it.
Sure. So like this is Xayah's perspective. They're breaking some prisoners out of Pubo, and she does a little planning with Rakan, and Rakan.
I'm hearing it now, you guys. I wasn't at
Oh,
first when
I get
was
it.
saying
I get it. What? Yeah.
I get it now. Pube. Okay. Shut up. Anyway.
And they're breaking people out of prison, and it's a prison that Zed's Shadow Boys. I saw someone refer to them as Shadow Nerds, so we'll go with that
Oh, I love that.
because they're going to show up a lot. Zed's Shadow Nerds they've got a bunch of prisoners who are Vestians, and while Rakan does his distraction, Xayah breaks them out, and one of them specifically is referred to as like is it ambassador or it's like some title, some moniker.
Shoot,
I know.
I forget.
I don't have it written down, unfortunately.
Yeah.
She breaks them out. They get away. She links up with Rakan. They all escape, and it's two of them. It's the ambassador guy. We'll say his ambassador, and his mate. They get away, but the Cole is her name. Yeah.
He is an ambassador. His name's Akunir.
Yes, yes,
Thank you.
yeah, there it is. It's somewhere in my notes. I have it written down once, and I cannot find it for the life of me. Akunir, the ambassador, and Cole, who they call a speaker, I want to say at some point. So there's some high-ups at some point. Akunir has been kind of really respected and been very useful in diplomatic interactions in the past. They get away, but the bodyguard, whose name is also somewhere in my notes, who was kind of carrying Cole away, dies as a part of their escape.
Jurelv.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I love this. I don't even know why I wrote them down.
I'm just looking at the story on the side.
I should just do that.
Genius. Opening the story up.
No, once we do the episode, we don't open the stories ever again.
Done. Yeah.
So it's kind of the aftermath, and Xayah is she gets into kind of an argument with Akunir, because he is saying that hey, we can rely on the Kinku. The humans are not all aligned. They're a splintered people, and the people doing this specifically are Zed's Shadow Nerds, and Xayah, being Xayah, is not having any of it. And it kind of comes to a head when Cole sort of takes Xayah's side and is like, well, I'm going to go north, and I'm going to tell our people to get ready for war. And then also kind of breaks up with / divorces almost Akunir, on the spot.
Yeah, they really have a great way of divorce in their land. They're just like, I divorce you. It was like
Yep.
Michael Scott
I
declaring
declare bankruptcy.
bankruptcy. Yeah, and that's it. There's no paperwork, no lawyers. So it's over.
That's it, yeah. And so in the wake of that, Xayah and Rakan kind of share a moment where they really just reinforce it, we're not like them, and nothing's ever going to get between us in that way. And they kind of just have a moment.
Hug is what
They
Mark
hug.
was just doing there for the listeners. They embrace. He couldn't think of that word. He can't clap. He's not all over the place today.
I'm
Although
fucked
for
up.
our Patreon subscribers, you saw him hug himself.
There's air here. There could be a ghost I'm hugging. Don't tell Sarah.
I would
Yeah.
I would like to
go for it.
mention my favorite line from this story, because it's making me think of the if they kill him, I will murder. If he's dead, I will kill him. Where
Yeah.
it's but it goes the extra step where Xayah says, I hope my love is okay. I know he's going to be okay. He'd better be okay, or I will force a necromancer to resurrect him so I can murder him myself.
Yeah. She's got
Extra Xayah.
got some real extra dark lines in here. I wrote down one of her other ones too, where again when she was worried about Rakan, she's like, I'll have the still beating heart of anyone who dares harm him as much as one of his feathers. I'll make a cute beating heart necklace. Damn, Natalie, you a crazy chick.
All right.
I'll pretend I get that
Little
reference.
SNL reference for ya.
Yeah. I don't have as much to say about the Xayah one. I have a lot more to say about the Rakan one, because that was a much more entertaining read. I felt like this one was neat. This one is more interesting in terms of we don't know a lot of what's going on, but the fact that they're talking about going to the Kinku, and there's that they kind of talk about that in the other story too, is interesting to me.
Yeah.
It's I wouldn't have expected that to be even something they would consider. So it is neat that that's like. I think in general, I kind of like a little that Riot seems to be aware that, like, maybe there is more of a way through that is not just like what Xayah seems to have in mind. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the Kinku really are a bridge between respecting the magic of Ionia while still being mortal, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Some of them.
Yeah. And like
You
before, how you're saying how Rakan is very much of an outside personality and Xayah is very much in her head. Like the story, we got to see Xayah kind of, going over plans in her head. Like she's kind of, like she's a strategist basically. She's kind of this leader of the rebellion in some way. So you got to see her feathery cogs moving.
I will say, John, you are more of the strategist between the two of us.
that's the bit
than
of
me.
Xayah that I have.
That is, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think ahead at all. I act in the
That's
moment.
the TFT player in you.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's the TFT in me.
And I'm the ARAM fan.
All
No
random,
time-
baby.
No time for thoughts. Give me a champ I've never played before. I'm going in.
Ultimate bravery. So I have a bunch of notes on this one, actually. First, the quote here: I pluck 5 of my feathers and stack them neatly in my palm, holding them in place between my index finger and thumb, ready to send them flying. So, in my head, I just thought she could like shoot feathers. It didn't occur to me the logistics
Spider-Man.
of her plucking the feathers out of her body to shoot them. That like never occurred to me. I don't know why, but it's weird now.
Yeah. Like in the other story, the piece of shadow cake one, it kind of sounds like she does kind of manifest them in her
She can
hand.
manifest them.
Yeah.
In this one, she's plucking them. Do you think after a game of League, she's just bald as hell? Like, just
Ooh, that shit hurt.
The way I interpreted it is it's kind of like when, like, I could think of, like, Twisted Fate or anybody who, like, has, like, the card up their sleeve. It just, like, comes out. Or, like the Spider-Man webs. Just kind of...
Yeah.
Kind of pluck
But really,
it from
she's
the air
like
almost.
fucking Marrow from X-Men,
Oh.
just fucking plucking her, taking her own shit out.
I was
I
thinking
don't
like
know, you lost
Scorpion
me.
from
It's
what
a
I don't
deep
know.
X-Men cut.
Marrow is, like, a character whose whole thing is she has bones protruding from her body. And she uses them.
But she can just.
Pulls on her bones.
But
She got bones.
Okay.
also,
Okay.
she has a quote in here that says,
Pew bones.
"Hey, that sounds like Cubone." I've got time to turn this guard into a sev, which I've heard of turning people into pincushions. I've literally never heard someone turning someone into a sev, but I fucking love it.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point.
For people out there who don't know what a sev is, not me. What is one?
It's the the baking thing where you sift.
It's like a
You
sifter,
can
yeah.
sift like.
Oh, I always call
Sifter?
that a sifter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've worked in multiple bakeries, by the way. We've always just called it a sifter.
I always think of using it for liquid rather than.
You can use it for liquid too, like a strainer.
Yeah,
Oh, I use it
Yes.
for powdered sugar to make my cookies look Christmassy.
Yeah, it's like
Exactly.
when you see in, like, I don't know what show or movie it'd be in, but like where they have to filter like the fresh water from the pond or something. They put the cloth over it. It's like a makeshift
Gotcha.
sieve or sev.
Yeah.
A cheesecloth.
She should have said that. I'm going to turn this motherfucker into a cheesecloth.
To a cheesecloth.
I'm gonna turn this motherfucker into cheese. Swiss cheese.
Now I'm
Now,
hungry.
I know, right? So much. There's another logistical thing in here that I had never considered. So she has the quote, "I throw another handful of feathers, shaping them into blades mid-flight." And like, I don't know why my dumbass thought that like her blades were just sharp all the fucking time, and she was just walking around with razor blades on her body, giving Rakan hugs and shit. But that's what I thought.
Sure,
Makes way more sense that she just uses magic mid-flight to turn them into blades.
So you're
Which they do talk about a lot more in the other story, where
Yeah.
she turns one of her feathers into like an actual sword as opposed to just a tiny little dagger. But like, hadn't occurred to me at all until I read that quote.
Yeah, so you're telling me that Xayah is a bird and not, in fact, a porcupine?
Right?
Or a pangolin, even?
That's what John was picturing this whole time.
100% what, except like not a real porcupine either. I was imagining that what people think porcupines do, which is just throwing their quills at you.
Okay, hear me out. What if Xayah was Rammus?
It does
I love
explain
it.
nothing, but it is cool.
Zayas. Okay.
Xayah does have a quote to Rammus where she's like, "Is it really okay?"
That's fantastic.
Love it.
I'm like, me too, Xayah, me too.
It's not okay. Thank you for asking, actually, Xayah.
Nobody ever asks how Rammus is doing.
Okay.
All right.
She has a very cool cool guys don't look at explosions moment in this story too, where she says, I turn my back, and with a snap of my fingers, my quills tear free of the corpses behind the acolyte and fly back towards me. So there's like this one acolyte alive after she's fucking murdered his platoon of fellow acolytes, and he's like, I'll stop you myself, like a fucking idiot. And she just turns around and calls her bullshit back and turns him into a sev,
Yep.
or cheesecloth, as it were.
I mean, just in like the gameplay perspective, that's like one of the most fun things you can do, where you like send all your feathers out, and then it's like a melee champion is chasing you, and then like you're running away and they think they've got you, but then you just pull the feathers back.
Annihilate them. Yeah, that's true.
There's another quote here, and this is a Rakan quote technically, but it's to Xayah in this one, where because Xayah fucking hates humans. We've talked about it a little bit. There's no redeeming humans. All humans suck. And actually this isn't a Rakan quote. This is the
Like Ionia.
the other dude. Yeah,
Sure.
but he says humans are a splintered race, Xayah, when trying to explain that they're not all awful. And I feel like in real life this is really tough for me to remember sometimes, because I do feel like people are garbage a lot of the time. But there are tons of good ones. But also, if AI took over and they decided that all humans needed to be eliminated, I'd also get it. I'd understand.
That includes like me, right?
Your daughter.
I don't give a fuck about her. It's about me.
Fucking fuck Poppy. You know what it means? Me, John, me, Mark, your bestie.
Yeah, I remember this reminds me of something I heard where people they were discussing what you do in apocalypse and stuff, and if you really think about it, you kind of most people would just probably just accept it and die.
Yeah, because most people don't have the people who are preparing for the apocalypse and they're storing guns and shit.
I mean,
nah, man, you got to learn how to farm.
Just watch an episode of Doomsday Preppers.
You gotta know how to sew.
You gotta know how to make an underground bunker.
I think you gotta know how to make a podcast. That's
You gotta know how to make a podcast.
We're gonna make it, baby.
Hey.
one singularity.
All right,
That's all we need.
We're an hour in and we barely touched on
I know.
Xayah.
But I've got another quote here.
Oh my god, John. Okay, fine.
All right, we talked about the divorce thing, where Cole says, I forsake my claim to you, I forsake your claim to me.
That is, I guess, better than me yelling, I divorce you. But
Which, for the record, I love that she got half of his guards in the divorce. That was great.
she did. She did. Half his guards were like, I'm gonna go with her.
But a bit of info about Vestayan cultural relationship and marriage rituals. So their culture is big on declarations. Symbolically, when you declare something, it becomes true. With Vestayan magic, these sort of declarations form kind of like a weak charm. So re-invoking it maintains its status and makes others aware. So people who are kind of married are kind of in a continual I am choosing to continue to commit to you. And from a human's perspective, they're not like married or engaged, but they would self-describe as a couple. So you're declaring someone your companion is essentially the equivalent to you allowing your magic to intertwine with them, kind of Avatar style.
So they really would just yell, "I declare
They
bankruptcy."
really would, and that's
how.
and then they're bankrupt.
That makes so much sense now. Like just looking at the story again, especially the last line where Xayah tells Rakan to repeat the "We are not like them." Like it's a declaration of like not just assurance, but like there's some power there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And it makes like sense their like I guess their initial declaration of each other. I said it says in their bio it was during a tavern brawl. I was like, did they get married during a tavern brawl? How does this work?
Apparently,
like a
short ceremony.
casino wedding.
The heart wants what the heart wants. So, all right, I guess we can move on to the Tubo one now.
Nothing rhymes with Tubo.
Except Pooh.
Too low.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's the same story. It's from Rakan's perspective, and it's inside his head. And the summary essentially is the same. I don't think there's much else to discuss in that regard. But the writing is a lot of fun because Rakan is like massive scatterbrain, like ADHD ramped to 11 type situation. Like I don't know how best to describe it, but like his train of thought is just all over the map.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, John and I found it a little too relatable.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, like
Sorry.
reading this and thinking to myself like, man, that's how I think, and then reading the dev kind of behind the scenes, and they're like, oh yeah, we specifically wrote Rakan to have ADHD. Like, is this how I find out I have ADHD? Fuck.
Yeah, no, that's definitely where I was at too. I felt like I read it somewhere, or maybe I think I like read like Rakan fun facts. So like, sorry if I'm taking the job from you, John. But
Oh, no, you do it.
well, I mean, I didn't. I just read whatever was online. But no, I read like that, and I was like, maybe I am like him. He's just
Yeah, it
like
was.
me.
I do this exact fucking shit.
I would say the most relatable is when Xayah is trying to explain the plan to him, and he more than once is like, fuck, listen, she's been talking forever. Don, I do that to you all the time. I'm so sorry. You'll be like telling me about something work related, and I'm just smiling and nodding at you, and then 3 minutes later, I'm like, fuck, I should listen to him. He's still talking because I have not been listening to you.
That to you all the time.
Okay, great. We're just talking at each other all the time.
Just all the.
Poppy's screwed. She's gonna start talking, and none of us are gonna be listening to each other. That's okay. That's why we work. We don't mind.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need to talk.
Yeah.
I mean,
it
it's
helps.
like like I don't know how much percent, but there's a little bit more percent chance that one of you will hear it versus just one person.
That makes me feel so
You'd
much
think
better.
so,
You're
wouldn't
right.
you?
No, shut up, Mark.
Fuck you, Mark.
Fuck you, Mark.
This
Sorry,
is why
while I
the
was
AI is gonna take you over.
Take me over specifically. What a
You
waste! What a
specific-
waste of AI. Oh,
I have a
man.
quote here. This is a Rakan quote.
Okay.
Just to kind of give an example of kind
Yeah.
of his mind. Each wood-woven home probably has a whole family inside it. There, mortals are born, die, and most importantly, create new songs. Probably with harps and drums. Maybe flutes. I should make a reed flute later. First, I need to fluff my cloak. Did I remember to clean my feathers? God, the town below must have an inn. A bottle of wine would be great right now. Rakan, Xayah says. Crap, she was telling me the plan. I focus back on her face, on her crooked smile. The sunset's last rays reflect in her eyes. I love her eyelashes. I want to repeat it back to me. Something in the monastery. She was, I rendezvous with you at, no, I've already lost the thread.
I was just watching It's Always Sunny last night before bed, like I always do. And it was the Being Frank episode, and there's a part at the beginning, thank you, Mark, where from Frank's perspective, they're going over a plan, and he's not listening because he's trying to remember one of their names, and that was... It sounds like this, and it was just the most relatable shit. If people talk for more than 30 seconds, I'm done. I'm lost. I don't know what you're saying anymore.
Which is rough in like an hour and a half long podcast.
Yeah, right.
We break it up. We break it up. No one's
yeah.
talking continuously for 30 seconds, except when you fucking do the AUs.
You're just listening to me blather on twice. I get it.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh shit. But yeah, super entertaining. You know what else I liked is at the end they get to that kind of more somber moment, and I liked some of like how he's a little more, like for example, we talked about like Xayah's, she's mad now, but she kind of hides it, and she'll kind of feel it all later when she thinks I'm asleep and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'll help her then. You know, like he's just so in tune with kind of where she's at. I liked. And Xayah was kind of like that too.
He understands how she has to mourn and gives her time to process it, which is really important. That's another way in which I am like Xayah. I would never mourn in front of other people.
And she understands that with him during her story too, when she's like, "Oh, he's gonna be really upset that dude died. Like, I'm gonna give him some time to process this."
Yes, yeah. She's like, he takes it hard, like he always does, stuff like that. You know, it's like, I like it. Like they're very clear, sort of understanding of like, yeah, that's just what that person needs. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah. I love the description of him fighting in this story. Like, all of his fight descriptions are great, and like, ironically enough, because he's fighting like shadow ninjas, basically. The description of
Shadow Nerds, Sean.
Shadow Nerds. Sorry. Unfortunately, that doesn't work for this description I'm about to give.
Oh shit!
But
okay.
the style of fighting he's using against them is straight up ninjutsu. It's like all like slipping just out of sight, ending behind them, using their momentum against them. It's very he's very much using ninjutsu against these ninjas, which is great.
Rakan is secretly submitting his application to them.
The whole time.
He would hate how he looked in black.
That's true.
Yeah.
They would make him wear a shirt for sure.
Yeah.
Cover up those nips, Rakan. You know?
These nips
Take
gotta fly
someone's
free.
That's just John making a declaration about the world. That was all right.
I like a quote here too. So one of the guards is like, "Surrender yourself." And he's like, "No, I'm distracting you."
I do.
He looks at me confused. I'm gonna slap him next.
It is good. It's also the two bows, by the way, are guns.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Those are guns.
I do like the consistently getting descriptions of human things from the Vestayan. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, especially him.
Yeah.
Funny enough, they
also-
are. No, sorry. Go ahead. No, I think it's. Never mind. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I like this. We get this a little bit in the Xayah story, but I feel like it's more emphasized in Rakan's story when Cole is basically like, you know, I'm going up north. Basically, we're done. Akonir steps forward and he's gonna grab her and be like, no. And Rakan just steps right between them. And it specifically says in the Rakan one, like, I could say something here, but like, nah, I'm just gonna stare at him instead. I feel like that'll be more effective. He just like fucking squares up and stares him down. He's like, and shakes his head. Fucking manly as hell.
Sure. Any other thoughts on Nothing Rhymes with Two Bow?
No. I think we can bump over to the other one,
Yes.
the Shadow Cake.
And this one, new author, Odin Austin Schaefer.
Yeah. So
Yeah. I will say, like, before we start, we have problems sometimes with multiple authors, but they're very clearly still Xayah and Rakan here, which I think could be because they have clear personalities at the start,
yeah.
which was credit to Matt Dunn for sure for that one.
Yeah, that's a good call out, honestly, because like you said, sometimes we find it and it's like, these pieces don't fit, but these fit
like
very
Quinn.
neatly. Yeah. Sure, yeah. Very recent example.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this is really long. I have tried to summarize it in my notes as effectively as I can, but I might miss things or y'all help out.
Okay.
But it opens mid-action. Xayah and Rakan are actually working to destroy a Quinlan, and they do. they're successful, and it's kind of a very celebratory moment. And there's this moment where like the magic floods back in, and all of a sudden, like the Vestayan they're helping can fly where they couldn't before. They start floating in the air, and they can change their feathers and stuff. So the magic really has a significant effect on them. But they were kind of called to help another Vestayan group whose name is somewhere in my notes. I'm not going to go worry about it. Another set of Vestayans. Who they've lost access, like the Quinlan has been taken and it's being used by the Shadow Nerds, and they're doing extra bad stuff with it. And what kind of comes out through Xayah interacting with the elder of this group is that like this group of Vestayans has been working with this set of monks, and they've been peaceful for a long time, and they're trying to kind of work with the monks to get a hold of this temple again. And Xayah's not all about that, but they're willing to help. They go down into the city, and it's full of shadow nerds, and they have to kind of sneak their way in. And there is this one shadow guy who has like the ability to kind of see magic. It would be the best way to describe it. He's on the lookout for Yordles and Vestayans, and he does spot them out. There's a small chase sequence, but they're kind of squirreled away by this human that Rakan kind of puts a little trust into, and it turns out she is the, I guess, leader. They gave some title, Abbess or whatever, which I'd never seen before, and I didn't Google it.
Yeah.
But she's like the leader of what's left of this monk order. And they seem pretty chill. They seem to definitely understand, at least to a degree, Vestayans and their culture. They don't have it 100%, but they're trying. Xayah wants to go in without them. And I guess something that kind of happened at the end of the first part of the story is when they destroyed that Quinlan, really great for Vestayans, it also destroyed the Ionian town that was nearby. Like, everything's just fucking destroyed, and people are probably dead. So it is going to fuck this city up when they destroy this Quinlan that Zed's boys are using. But they go do it. They use what little bit of the Vestayan group that they're helping as a distraction. They get in, and then we kind of essentially just get into the cinematic.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
Just beat for beat.
Yep, it's the cinematic. They fight. Xayah and Zed fight, and they destroy the Quinlan, and it does restore a bunch of stuff. And Rakan is like, well, I would like to go run and see if I can help that monk lady and help them kind of get out because shit's gonna be fucked. And Xayah had already kind of told her, because if Rakan trusts her, then he tends to be right about these kinds of things. So she kind of put that trust in Rakan to tell these people what was going to happen.
That was a great moment. I loved that.
Character
Yeah.
growth. 'Cause
Yeah, it was a good reflection when Rakan didn't quite know the plan. But he went with it anyway, and he said because Xayah knows about those kinds of things.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
then the story ended with Xayah saying, well, you know about these kinds of things.
Mhm.
People and how they work.
There was a quote from Xayah very early on in the story that was just like literally you anytime you make a fucking decision.
Oh.
And it
Well, I gotta hear it.
she like made a plan and then she thought to herself, this is a ludicrous plan based on some idiotic circus move I saw Rakan perform. I knew I shouldn't have used it.
Yeah, that's fair. Kind of second guessing, yeah.
Yeah, and two things quick. The first thing is like how they had the beginning, like, I don't know, section with the one Quinlan, and then but it was like kind of short, and then we had the second one that was longer because of the shadow nerds. But I think they actually call them Yanlei, which is like, I guess,
Yeah.
the
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Vestalian name for them. But it, like the first half, it felt like in, I don't know, like, I can't pinpoint a specific show, maybe like Firefly or one of those like space rebel shows where like in the beginning of the episode they have like a short planet mission and then like they go off to do the real stuff where they just have like a little montage in the beginning or, like stuff.
It's like the cold open.
Yeah.
Right. It's literally episode 1 of Firefly
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
with the short spaceship mission where they get caught and then it ends with the the handoff on the cowboy planet. you
Yeah,
know.
but then the other thing is, one of the parts that it like just really caught me is the whole thing with the the Vistaya, like, they have songs when they do different things, like how the Vistaya have a song when they cook.
Yeah.
I thought that was so interesting.
That's very cool. And like not even just a song while they cook, but like specific songs depending on what they're
What you're
cooking.
making.
It, like,
Yeah.
It like
Yeah.
affects the, like, there is like some sort of magic to the song. So there's like
Yeah.
there's a song for stoneflower bread.
Yeah.
That Rakan immediately like was like, all right, and like
It's close.
you know, you it's close. You didn't use the right song, but like you know, the heart was there, so
Yeah.
it doesn't suck that bad.
And then he eats like 5 loaves. And then he asks
there's a
for
lot of
chocolate.
There's a lot of details like that I really liked here. I thought that the depiction of that Shadow Order guy who was like, because he's seeing magic and he spots them out, and he is like using a bell to like shoot waves of magic at them, but it only kind of seems to go through the spirit realm. So he's like casting these sort of weird invisible spirit realm magic waves down alleyways, and it's really cool. It's a really neat
That shit was
thing.
terrifying.
Yeah. It's a really cool thing. There's a lot of bits like that in here that I thought were really really neat to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have some quote. I have a quote from that part specifically too. So it said like, on a tower made out of cut and dead trees, the man stood in burgundy robes. From his eyes, a strange darkness emanated, and he held an ornate brass bell which misted a dark vapor. He's looking for Vistaya and Yordles, Rakan said with certainty. Xayah grabbed Rakan's arm and pulled him into an alleyway as the mage screeched with a horrific sound. He had seen through their disguises. Horns of alarm blared from the walls, answering the mage's cry. Which, like, it reminded me... I don't know how many of you have seen this. This might be too deep a cut. But, like, fucking Return to Oz...
Oh,
if y'all have
I
seen
know
that shit,
exactly what you're talking about. Like
the hallway scene where like all of the severed heads in the hallway all wake up at the same time and they just scream. That's the vibe I got from this fucking scene.
I just got kind of like, I don't know, like lockdown, Amber Alert type vibes where it's like whoop whoop whoop. But also like the whole. I liked how, you know, they had one of the Shadow Nerds, you know, he had like some special ability, but it wasn't like he was the leader. You just felt like he was like, it's sort of like in the video games where you'll get like a slightly upgraded version of a normal enemy. Where it's
Like a mini boss.
Yeah. It's like, this is
the one asshole patrolling the camp with an actual trumpet, and you're like, oh,
it's
fuck.
like this is an enemy. But, this is a normal enemy, but now he has spikes.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot that I was liking in this. Rakan has a lot of fun moments. Again, I think I was really into Rakan through a lot of these things where like she gives him this outfit and he's like, this cloak is gray. It's not even a color, and then he snaps a twig off a branch and throws it. Like that's how he's angry.
That was his little temper tantrum.
It was really cute. We see his anger in this story again too, which I feel like we haven't really seen since his bio. They made mention of him like getting really angry, and there's a moment when they're speaking with the tribe, and I don't remember his name.
Don't worry, I've got it written
Levika.
down.
Levika is like really saying some shit to Xayah and like threatening her, and he just like starts prowling the edges like a lion. Like he snaps into place and starts pacing all around them. Like his whole demeanor changes.
And then he literally jumps up on the place where Levika is sitting and says, "Do you want me to slap you off that rock?" And he's like, "Oh shit, I didn't mean any disrespect." And he says, "My lady speaks wisdom, fool, and she speaks only the truth. Listen and watch your tone, or we're gonna have a problem."
Yeah, he gets mad. And what I thought was interesting is that Levika was really saying, like, you know, we've worked with the mortals here for a long time. We've let them have this Quinlan here. And Xayah was like, well, too fucking bad. We need to destroy the Quinlan. It might kill all these humans you're working with. And Rakan, I feel like, would maybe be a little bit on understanding of where Levika's coming from here, but he still defended Xayah in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot I like about what's going on with them. I like that Riot. That's the thing I'm saying is like Riot's building trust with me because like it would be really easy to just make this. It would be easy to just make this like, oh yeah, Xayah Rakan absolutely in the right. Don't even worry about it. But it's like, no, it's kind of fucking some shit up a little bit. You know, it's like it's a little more of a nuanced problem. You know what I mean?
They disagree with each other about a lot of these big things, but they still greatly respect each other, which is what a couple would do. And they're not disagreeing to the point of, I don't know, they're still on the same page about a lot of the really, really big things, which that's also really important for a relationship to work. But yeah,
now thinking about it, I really like how the whole Vestayan Shadow Order conflict, it's like I feel like it's the perfect level of, you know, like, what's the word? Like, it's not like too large that it's, you know, like the threat of the void, but it's also
like localized.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not too, you know, it's not like the whole Shreem or Darken, but it's not like, it's not quite as small as like, you know, like Jinx, where it's very central. You know, it has like this bigger range, but it doesn't feel so macrocosmic that it's like totally out of the. It's like not, you know, a looming threat like the Watchers. It's like something that's actually happening.
Yeah. I was thinking that to them this is very world ending, right? Like this is their world. This is a really, really big deal. And I was thinking about it when I was reading their stories. Like they don't even know about Viego and everything that happened there, do they? They don't know about the void. Like,
I mean,
how do you?
maybe if they were around the Placidium when
Fair.
Viego showed up.
Yeah, who knows?
But how would the void even fit into this? You know, at this point, the Vestayan are fighting to take their land back. If there is a void event, a portal opens up here and void creatures start pouring out.
Sure. I mean, you know, I completely agree with with what you're saying, like, and I like it too because it's all intermingled with existing factions and their own kind of conflicting wants and desires, and I like a nice thorny situation where there's no like clear right answer and it requires nuance. And you know what else is like, man, Xayah and Aurelia would be so fun to get together because they're both these kind of fledgling leaders and they don't know the right way through and they've got these ideas and they're kind of in these weird almost opposed positions, but they still are like have bigger things that they're opposed to. And I think a second invasion of Ionia from Noxus would be the great catalyst to get all of this stuff figured out.
That's true. I think that's true.
Yeah.
And I think Rakan would help Shen be less boring.
That'd be great.
That's a big task. Big task, like. But
Maybe
you're
he'll
right.
let loose a little, or you know, he'll have some banter with Kennen.
Yeah, I feel like they'd get along.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Also, I feel like in general, this story gave a way fucking better idea of the scope of the Order of Shadow than any of the Order of Shadow like people we've talked to so far. Like
That's
to
what the,
that we had on the
what I was
pod.
looking for. The scope of the conflict is very nuanced.
Like I don't know what the fuck Zed, like we know what Zed has done from, you know, Akali and,
I don't
and
know.
Kennen
We're not
and
at
all
the
that
Z's
shit.
yet.
I know we're not at the Z's yet.
Oh no.
Luckily, the Zed comic
We have read that
we've
like
read
8
several
times.
times. But I feel like the Zed comic gave us like shit about what he's actually up to. And in this story, we're finding out that like, and this one and the last one, we're finding out like the Order of Shadow has prisons where they're actually keeping like Vestaya dignitaries and shit like that. They have entire cities that are protected using twisted shadow magic that kind of combines with nature magic that like forces nature to do shit that it doesn't want to do. I mean, they've got Quinlan's where they're harvesting the natural magic of the world to create more shadow ichor to power their own kind of shadow magic. Like, this is a lot of shit that they've got going on that isn't even touched on
Yeah.
in the other comics.
Like, I don't know if anybody else gets this, but when I think of the Shadow Order, they just make me think of like the hand from Daredevil,
Exactly.
or the foot from Teenage
or the foot
Teenage
from
Mutant Ninja Turtles. Those are like the same thing, basically.
Yeah.
Except one's
Yeah.
turtle
No,
and
you're
one's
right.
blind.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting to me because I feel like Riot has done a lot to try and make Zed a little bit more of a sympathetic villain, like in the Zed comic, for example. So it's really interesting to me that they still have so much of this kind of really evil shit going on. You know what I mean? It's like, don't get me wrong, the villain is the capital part of like that. Sympathetic, sure, but it's like I said, I kind of like it because I can see why the Shadow Order would be, and the Navori Brotherhood and all them would be doing all this crap in order to fuel what they think is the right thing to do, even though it's obviously, wrong and fucked up, right? It's like, I like people doing things that they think are right in this way. It's fun.
Yeah. My main complaint with this whole story is the fact that Xayah and Rakan snuck up to the last Quinlan through the forest, when it's very clearly described that the forest is nothing but basically like gray landscape.
They do say they tried their
that.
best to hide themselves, and they've got a distraction, they've got a feint going on. I'll give it to them, and even then they get spotted. My biggest
You're too colorful.
Yeah, that is true. My biggest complaint is that they kind of spark notes it at the end because they're like, well, there's a cinematic, so we'll just kind of like the first 2/3 are have a density, and then like the last bit's a little bit like, and then Rakan, and he's here, like it's. I forgive him because they got a video, but
I was gonna say they didn't need the last bit there. 'Cause
Yeah.
they do have the video. Like it's all kind of one cohesive bit. Like I don't think there's a whole lot of other instances where we have lore that literally like does beat for beat what a cinematic is doing. Like they could have cut the story off a little bit earlier. I will say we wouldn't have gotten the ending where we find out that like Xayah tipped off the people ahead of time, which I really like, but I don't know if it's worth.
I think you can get that in there. They can share that information before they
Yeah.
go fight the Zed boys. It's like
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there was a way to do it, but they didn't have to.
I had
just
that exact same
reiterate everything
thought.
that's in the cinematic.
Totally.
Only other thing, she calls the rifles that they're using at the very start of this Koshuri rifles, which might sound familiar because that's where Jin gets his shit. So something, yeah.
Oh. How would a run-in with Jin look? That would be so fun.
Yeah. And Jin spices up anything, though. You put him anywhere and it'll be fun.
Right.
I think
But Jin and Rakan
Yeah.
interacting somehow, they're such big
Oh,
personalities.
both
you are
the
right, though.
Having conflicting methods of art, because Rakan is song and dance, and Jin is more blowing people's face into blossoms.
Both legitimate, I guess.
What is
And
art,
I mean,
man?
It's interesting because Xayah and Rakan do kill a lot of people, but I think they'd be quite horrified with Jin's
Right.
obsession with
Because they don't
murder.
I feel like when they kill people, it's like in service of something. Like the goal is
Yeah.
never to kill people. The goal is always something else, and
Yeah.
then the people get in the way.
Yeah.
Whereas Jin, like the goal is just to kill people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's canon. Xayah and Rakan.
Yeah.
They need more.
Took an hour and a half. It was great.
We did it.
They got a lot, they're dense.
They did. Yeah.
But I will say, like, they're my favorite we've read in a long time. I think they did such a good job with all of their stories.
Yeah.
Like the voices in these are great. The interactions the two of them have are great, and like obviously like I feel like Rakan is more fun to read, but I feel like even the Xayah bits, like they're very true to Xayah. Like they weren't boring for me. They were just different. But yeah, I thought they nailed like fucking everything.
Yeah,
here.
it's such a good dynamic between the two of them in the stories. They just, I think if we had like a story, I mean, we have the twin stories that are kind of from both perspectives, but they're still both in it. So I feel like if we had, singular stories where one's only Rakan, one's only Xayah, we'd lose a lot in like the writing aspect and just the character personality as a whole. So I definitely feel they are best served as a pair.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
I think we get enough of in their bios. We do get a little bit of who they were before they met each other.
Yeah, and like,
Yeah.
yeah, because I mean, obviously they're their own people, but they're very much just so intertwined with each other that like at this point, yeah, it would feel awkward having a story that was just one or the other.
Yeah.
Like they kind of need each other to flesh out the whole picture.
Yeah. Yeah. It'd be a really significant thing to try and do that. Which.
I mean, it's like their splash arts, where
Exactly.
you look at like one character's how it's like kind of focused on the one. It's like, okay, that's cool, but then you look at the whole thing and it's like such a dynamic piece. I'm saying dynamic a lot, but
It's okay.
it's it's especially as much as I don't like the skins themselves, I really like it's like the cosmic. Is it like
the cosmic ones.
yeah, where it's like
They're,
it's like
Event Horizon.
where it's like the ones in like the bottom right and the others in the top left. So it's this like really cool sort of yin yang thing, but
Yeah, it's very
but
cool.
I see them less as like a yin yang and more that they're meshing.
The creation of man.
All right.
Yeah, well, I mean, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah,
Lack.
thank you.
Thank you guys. This was a lot of fun.
This has been great. Yeah, it was great to have you. If people want to, find you online, do you have any sort of socials or anything you wanna plug?
Alrighty. Well, I mean, I'm in the Discord, particularly the Teamfight Tactics channel, because that's what I do mainly, because I'm bad at League. So just if you want to talk to me, ping me there. But for like the 2% of women listening to this podcast and the 1% being Rebecca, just hit me up in the DMs if you're anything like Xayah. No, but my league name is Flare Knight 79. Knight like knight in shining armor. So if you ever see me in a game of TFT, see a Ember, Inkling, Inktails, Aushin, that's probably me. And so maybe you'll beat me, maybe you won't. Please let me beat you so I can gain LP. And
There you have it.
that's me. Thank you guys so much. Can't wait to hear the episode when it comes out. And my butt hurts because this is a very uncomfortable chair, but it was well worth it.
Thank you for your
It was great to
sacrifice.
have you. Go take a walk around.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, stretch them legs out.
All right. I'll
Have a good one.
All right, later.
Bye-bye.
I'm gonna pee my pants. Hang on, let me go pee.
Okay. Pee break.
Pee break for me.
I'm not stopping the recording.
No, I'm not either.
This is. We're gonna. So. How about. That weather. Right.
I've not been outside at all today. I don't know what the fuck's happening out there.
It's foggy here.
Dude, it has been Silent Hill here. Let me tell you.
It's crazy.
Yeah, man, I cannot believe we did not get like any fucking. We got snow once this entire fucking December.
Right? No snow. I think we're still gonna get it. it's still gonna come.
I mean-
but, yeah, we didn't get any December snow.
Fuck, I kind of hope so.
I feel like it's gonna snow straight into March.
Man, you're probably fucking right. Shit. You know what? I don't want any fucking snow. None of this. It's like
Right?
worthless.
It's too late.
Right?
If it's not snowy at Christmas, fuck you.
Just skip it and just go to fucking spring, right? Like, fuck it, man.
Right? You can just keep your bullshit. I don't care.
What are you yelling about?
Snow?
We're like, so no.
More like no, am I right?
Is it snowing?
No,
it's
that's
too
what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Now I have to pee, so now you get to
Oh.
talk to Mark.
Okay.
So how about that weather? Oh man,
I hope we get snow. I'd love some snow.
we were just complaining about it. I think we will, but it will be like punishment snow.
It'll be March snow. That's what we're
That
gonna
is
get.
just what John said.
Oh, really? We're just having the same fucking conversation.
Yeah, I know. Don't fucking put that.
I'm so
Don't put that evil. Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
We always get March snow now, I feel like.
Yeah, I'm not a fucking fan. I was just complaining about it. It's fucking booty. Well, I'm sorry the baby was being such a pain on. I mean, you know, it happens, but on all
I think
episodes.
she was okay. She's moving around a lot more. Like right now she's sideways in her crib and like her feet are pressed against the bars. I'm just watching her. She's still sleeping, but sometimes she gets herself like caught sideways and she gets all pissed off and you have to go fix it.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
You were telling me that she got like one of them wedged in the bar. Was it right? Like in between the bars, or?
Yeah, because she's moving around a lot more, but she's so bad at it.
Mm-hmm.
No offense, Poppy, if you're
Fucking
listening to this in the
babies,
future.
man.
Fucking baby.
Can't they get this shit?
She can
together?
roll one way, not the other. Fucking figure it out, man. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, we were like, I was like, I had not set up, and we were also dealing with you know with stuff, and it was just like, I'm sorry I was so late. I was just like,
okay.
it just takes a little bit longer to set up. I'm just not quite used to like doing it all. So
Yeah. Babies are tough.
yeah, that
All right.
too.
All
I'm
right,
back.
cinematics.
I heard you talking about March snow.
Yeah.
Just as a point of order, they do have old bios. It's basically the same as the new bios, just with like slightly less detail. So I'm not
Okay.
gonna get into those.
Not
It's-
exciting.
Yeah, not exciting. Cinematics. We got Wild Magic, which is literally just a cinematic that's described in a piece of shadow cake, although it is very cool. And I did not notice until this time watching the cinematic that Xayah has a nose ring.
I didn't
Never
really
fucking
either.
noticed
I just
before.
like
I think the cinematic made me realize it too. I've seen this, I think, more than any other
Really?
cinematic that Riot has done. Yeah, I think because that the novel that I wrote, the vampire novel I wrote that I got an agent for, that but isn't getting published.
Yet.
The protagonist, she's at a Comic-Con or a Comic-Con like thing, and she dresses up as Xayah in it, and also gets into many fights while dressed as Xayah. And so I was trying to like visualize her outfit, especially in action, and so I watched the cinematic a lot.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. They also show up in the Rise cinematic. Xayah and Rakan are actually massive stone statues in the sky fighting against an elder drake as Ambition is approaching his confrontation with Faker.
So cool. It's not just a bunch of feathers or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just feathers on the ground. All right, quotes. So Rakan first. He has a quote that says, "The only way to understand magic is to plunge into it, move with it, dance, and dance," which is similar to the quote, "The only way to make sense out of a change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance," by the British speaker and mystic Alan Watts, whose teachings included philosophies similar to the ones found in Rakan's quotes.
Okay.
Wow, man, that's a hell of a pull.
Right?
So, we are...
So deep sigh.
We are seen dancing and thought insane by those who can't hear the music. References a famous quote by Friedrich Nietzsche.
Damn.
When I get sad, I stop being sad and be awesome instead. True story. And challenge accepted. Both Barney Stinson quotes from How I Met Your Mother.
Rakan's so much better than Barney.
He is so much better than Barney.
Both Barney Stinson and the dinosaur.
Just cover all the bases.
Right?
Cover all
Just to
the
make
Barneys.
All the
sure.
children's
Those are the-
programming
The
references.
two Barneys.
We have babies now. They don't even watch
They
TV
don't even
yet.
wa-
I don't
yeah.
know.
Right.
I watched Barney.
Yeah, likewise.
Too. I've been kicked around since I was born. It's all right. It's okay. I'm staying alive. Is a staying alive reference from the Bee Gees.
Okay.
He has also got a Star Guardian quote that says, just, not a reference to anything. It's just one that I liked.
Okay.
Nico, if you distract me with myself one more time.
Rakan would not hesitate that question of like, if you found a clone of yourself, would you fuck yourself?
Oh, he would absolutely fuck himself.
Rakan would have been like, how do I do that?
I said as such in the Nico episode. I remember saying that. Yeah.
You did. I'm so sorry. I'm just taking your jokes.
We
now.
don't need to. I mean,
As long as you say it
just
louder,
makes me feel. Yeah, right.
it makes it funnier.
Rakan would definitely fuck him.
You're so
Scream it
right. From the Xayah side, she has a quote that says, "Yordles. Why did it have to be Yordles?"
Is she afraid of yordles?
Which is the same. It's just shared quote. She and Ezreal both have that quote,
What?
and she's not afraid of Yordles. She hates them because she finds that most humans equate. Like, they don't differentiate between Yordles and Vestaya. They essentially are, they're like, they're both magic, and she takes that very personally, and so she hates Yordles and humans now.
Okay, well, first of all, Xayah, that's kind of fucked up to hate yordles for that, for what humans think. Well, fuck you, Xayah. That was rude as shit. What have yordles done to you? What has Lulu done to you, Xayah? All right.
Well, I mean, Kennen works with the humans, so...
He's whatever
So?
that
That's
word is
one
they
yordle.
use. That slur that they
Yeah.
use.
Right? I forget which one it is, but yeah,
Yeah.
that one. She and Rakan have a quote. I love you. I know. Empire Strikes Back reference, folks.
So who's saying I know there? Because that
That's
sounded like
Rakan.
Mark. Okay.
Mm.
I know.
I know.
I know. I know you love me.
They have a paired quote where Rakan's like, I want to travel the world with you. And Xayah's like, I want your happiness to evaporate, which is a Parks and Recreation quote between Andy and,
April.
Audrey Plaza, April.
April Ludgate.
April
I don't
Ludgate.
remember that one. That is kind of their thing, though, right? The grumpy one, sunshine
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
And we had a whole thing about like
Oh my
identify whether this is a Morgana quote or an emo band reference. Xayah's just got a quote: "Drop a heart, break a name." Straight out Fallout Boy reference to the song Sugar.
Okay, Sugar. They don't actually say anything in that song.
What? They go down
Are
Are
Are you doing? You're like channeling Kid Rock. You're like ba with the ba the ba.
Okay.
All right, are we ready for AUs, folks?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
hold on,
right.
I gotta open them.
Starting up, we got Event Horizon / Cosmic. Vast stardust creatures control the ebb and flow of creation, painting the cosmos with sublime light as their celestial court drifts along the fabric of time and space. Which, is the cosmic-specific lore blurb, different than the Event Horizon lore blurb, which I
Yeah.
normally get all dramatic for.
Yeah, sure.
So this is Cosmic Dawn Rakan, which rhymes.
Or Cosmic Dawn Xayah, which doesn't rhyme.
It does not.
Oh, it doesn't. Oh, okay, cool.
Dawn chases dusk beneath the sea, two lovers locked in an endless waltz across the stars. Thus, Rakan is never far behind Xayah, his breaking light glowing always above her shadows. And then Cosmic Dusk Xayah. Dusk beckons the dawn to its embrace, two lovers locked in an endless waltz across the stars. Thus, Xayah is always a step ahead of Rakan, leading him forever into her arms. And since we got a request to always mention which star constellations the Cosmic Court is referencing, they are both a Gemini reference for the twins.
I guess that makes sense.
So they are not twins because that'd be weird.
It's in Game of Thrones.
And there's a short story to go along with this called Ambition's Embrace. This is mostly like the Lux story where she goes to fight Thresh and gets fucking rocked. But Xayah and Rakan are in the Cosmic Court. They discuss what to do about the growing threat of the Dark Star. That's their role. And next up, we got Eclipse/Elderwood. In the beginning, the old gods reigned. So great was humankind's love for them that one dared to make them a part of her flesh forever. She devoured the sun itself, and descending from that empty heaven, inspired her knights to decimate all those that remained. Centuries later, they stand, the only hope against the rising coven's darkness.
I don't remember that.
No.
Is that what that's always been?
No, it is not.
Yeah.
Jesus. Okay.
It's a new... Yeah, a lot of... for the record, a lot of the AU lore blurbs have gotten a touch-up recently.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah. I don't know if it's Rosen or not. I mean, Rosen's been writing stories. I don't know if he's going around touching up the AUs or whether he's got an apprentice working his way towards journeyman or touched up the AUs. But first up, we got Elderwood Rakan. Deep in the shaded canopies of the Elderwood, the Fey Prince Rakan and Princess Xayah hold court over two rival fairy dominions. Star-crossed lovers, uninterested in the affairs of mortals, their playful romance has insulated their people from the horrors befalling the outside world. And then we got Elderwood Xayah, which is, the beginning's very similar. Though Princess Xayah has seen the darkness of the world beyond, she has chosen to simply adopt its colors for her court, rather than confront it. Which is very big Oberon vibes from Midsummer Night's Dream.
Oh.
No, I've seen that, but no.
I'm too stupid. Sorry.
He's the Fairy King.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And next up, we got
Thanks, Mark.
Arcana. High above Arcana, the archetypes, living patterns that shape reality itself, struggle to trace their vision upon the chaos below them. The archetypes recruit perceptive citizens of the world below to amplify their hidden patterns. And the more who magnify an archetype's pattern, the more the world reflects their grand design. This is a confusing lore blurb now. Reminds me a lot of the the Kiana bullshit. But this one we have Arcana Rakan, which is fun to say.
After 2 glasses
As
of really strong
glasses
wine.
of very strong wine. One half of a perpetually incomplete whole, Rakan's fated love was not in the lower world, but among the higher arcana far above. As the two rush to meet betwixt the lands of their birth, fate bubbles and boils over, a roiling sea from which a new order may emerge. And we've got Arcana Xayah, which is basically the same, but instead of the higher arcana, he's in the lower. As she strains to meet the fated Rakan and pull him upwards towards herself, their tension frays and forms discordant knots, setting the stage for something new.
I didn't know they got Arcana skins. I like these.
I don't think I've seen him in game.
I would not know that was Xayah, though. I need her feather cape,
You really do. That's kind of their one thing.
Ari. Yeah.
Next up, we got Be Mine, set in a world where romance dominates. To be fair, that's not my fault. The lore blurb literally says where romantice dominates.
Okay.
And I just copy and pasted it, and reading it back, it was very confusing to my drunk brain. Set in a world where romance dominates, each of the champions wear romantically themed attire. First of all, we've got Sweetheart Rakan. Love is in the air, and this time Rakan has a plan. He swears, this time, it will definitely, almost absolutely, certainly happen. He's thought about every poetic phrase, every dreamy dance move, but still he can't decide on what the perfect gift would be, chocolates or flowers.
Both.
Both. And we've got Sweetheart Xayah. Some say Xayah is lucky to have found true love. Her feathers captivate the soul, filling one's heart with passion and romance. That is, if you're Rakan. If you're not Rakan, Xayah's feathers cut right through the heart, leaving nothing but unrequited feelings and tables for one.
Okay.
There you have it, folks. If you want to find true love, be Rakan.
There you go.
Oh god, just watch you scroll through this Star
there's
Guardian.
a lot of pages of this. Okay, we got Star Guardian, folks. We know what time it is.
It's Star Guardian.
Star Guardian time. In a vast and dark universe, young warriors are chosen by fate to protect the light of the stars. They are destined to burn bright, but collapse as furiously as they shine. As we mentioned in the other episode, yeah, these are now separated by seasons. So Rakan and Xayah are part of Season 3 and Season 4. So Season 3, Ari's old squad resurfaces, changed from the events that once tore them apart, and followed by a threat beyond anything the Star Guardians have ever faced. Can the group move past old grudges and save themselves from annihilation, or will they simply be the next victims of the Twilight Star? We got Star Guardian Xayah. Abandoned by her captain and teammates, Xayah spent years in darkness. She sought revenge, yet deep down she only wanted an explanation, an answer as to why Ari left Rakan and her to die. Xayah pursued her former friends across the galaxy until, during the battle with the Twilight Star, Rakan sacrificed his own light to purge the darkness in Xayah's soul. Now, as Star Guardian once more, Xayah searches the night skies for her love. She hopes to return the favor and bring him back to the light, but to do so, she must battle the darkness that still rages inside. Xayah's love is her guiding force, though she'd never admit to something so horribly sentimental. And her magical media is named Saki. Sentimentality was never Xayah's strong suit. She prefers to speak with actions rather than words. If Saki could speak, in a language understood by anyone other than the Star Guardians, it would probably call most of the Star Nerds a bunch of misty-eyed babies before flying up to Xayah's shoulder for a wing bump. A great diss deserves a great celebration.
They knew about the nerds
And
thing.
Oh, yeah. They knew it. And then we've got a redeemed Star Guardian, Xayah. Being bad was fun while it lasted, but all things must end. Through the power of devotion and the first star, Rakan sacrificed himself to save Xayah. Now a guardian once more, Xayah searches the night skies for her love, hoping to return the favor without falling into chaos herself. Next up, we've got Star Guardian Rakan. Even after falling and becoming host to Zoe's corruption, Rakan's love for Xayah persisted. Across the universe, he joined her in her quest for vengeance, all the while formulating a plan to purify her heart. Doing so cost him his own sanity, and he fell deeper into a swirling dimension of chaos and destruction. Desperate and heartbroken, Xayah longs to bring Rakan back to the light. Rakan has other plans, namely, finding a good hairstylist and practicing his evil villain monologues. Burns this good can't be improvised. His magical medium is named Riku. Whenever Rakan needs to primp his hair before battle, he can trust Riku to hold the mirror in its talons. Of course, that's only if this arrogant ally stops long enough to tear its eyes from its own reflection. When your feathered friend looks that good, who can blame it?
I always forget they have these medium things.
Oh, they got him, baby.
Also, is Riku like a Kingdom Hearts character?
He is a
Yep.
Kingdom Hearts character, although not this
a
Riku.
Genius. Thank you.
You know, your favorite series, Kingdom Hearts.
Fucking love Kingdom Hearts.
Love it. Wow.
Sorry. I'm sorry to all the Kingdom Hearts fans out there.
Fucking
it just
don't be.
sucks.
Yeah.
I just Mark,
Hey, I love
fucking don't be.
I love Kingdom Hearts, but it's, I don't defend it.
Yeah, I mean, no Kingdom Hearts fan is gonna sit here and be like, "Oh yeah, this is a pinnacle story,
Guilty
pinnacle
pleasure.
of storytelling right there." Yeah, for sure, guilty pleasure.
I get that.
And we also have a redeemed Star Guardian, Rakan. The darkness never suited Rakan. The first star's light complements the glossy shine of his hair more than any chaos magic could. Plus, making evil plans is not really his style. a guardian once more, Rakan can now enjoy a welcome respite and perhaps a dance or two with Xayah. Spoiler alerts with how the visual novel's going to end.
Yeah, I was talking about this with John, and I was like, I feel like I kind of know the Star Guardian AUs, whatever. Rakan saves Xayah, and now he's evil. And she's trying to get him back. And he's like, well, actually, he's not evil anymore. And I was like, where the fuck did that happen? Because we've gone over this Star Guardian AU 8 bajillion times.
What? You weren't playing the Wild Rift
No!
visual novel?
No, I've not ever played Wild Rift.
Well, there's your first mistake.
That'd be a fun Patreon bonus content video, but no, I've not played it.
Well,
Sorry.
And that's like the period on like that whole sentence right there.
Sometimes the gas gotta come out.
I get it. Okay, so we have a bunch of things here. We've got shit they're actually in, and then at the end, I've got a shit they're just mentioned in.
Sure.
First of all, shit they're actually in.
Sure.
The Light and Shadow cinematic. So this is a cinematic where Nico is essentially fighting against the resurrected and now evilified Rakan. That's the official term. Xayah and Rakan. You can already kind of see in this glimmers of Rakan waiting for his chance to save Xayah. He's already got way more compassion than she's got. And then the Everything Goes On cinematic, which is after Xayah has been redeemed and Rakan's still evil, which is fucking beautiful. Beautiful music video. And heartbreaking from the perspective of the Xayah-Rakan relationship. Honestly, I tear up a little bit when I watch this.
Aw,
it's real
honey.
beautiful.
You're such a Rakan.
I'm such a Rakan. It's real good, though. You should watch it. And then we've got New Dreams, which are essentially vlog compilations of Xayah's new team of Star Guardians that are trying to rescue Rakan. So you get some, vlog entries there. And from the comic perspective, they have a comic called Star-Crossed, which tells the story of Xayah traveling across the land, recruiting Star Guardians for a mission to rescue Rakan and, save the world and all that shit. And she does it.
Woo!
She and Rakan live happily ever after eating snacks at a mall food court.
Oh, that sounds fucking great.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Give me a Cinnabon, bitch.
Hey. God, I could use a Cinnabon right
Right? I was trying to think, would anyone deliver pizza to us right now at 10:30 p.m.? But I gotta go to bed. Anyway.
And then we've got the visual novel we talked about, which is a Wild Rift exclusive. So unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of information about this lore on the wiki, but there are videos of all the interactions on YouTube. And after watching them, this is basically what's covered in the comic. So it's kind of like what they did with Sentinels, where they release a comic and then they release a visual novel that tells the same story as the comic, but they did it slightly better in that they tell the same story instead of a completely different story.
That's a step
they're
up,
both
yeah.
supposed to be canon somehow.
Sure.
Yeah, they've even got the same characters in the visual novel as they do in the comic, which
I don't know.
mean,
That's you're talking crazy. Don't turn into birds. This episode's gone on too long.
But does someone release gas from every orifice in their body?
no, hon, that would be fucking ridiculous. This is real lore here. And then there's a short story called Twin Stars, which is a much longer story that when we eventually do a Star Guardian specific episode, I'm sure we'll cover it. But basically, this is Zoe, Xayah, and Rakan attacking Valorant City, and the combined forces of Arya and Lux's team fight them off, and Rakan manages to break Zoe's control over Xayah at the cost of himself. This is kind of the point where Rakan goes full evil, and Xayah turns a new leaf.
Or a new feather?
A feather. Now, in terms of things that are mentioned in, they technically their Star Guardian gems are in the New Horizon cinematic, so that's something. And in the short story Starfall, they're alluded to, and in the Twilight Star, they're also alluded to.
Great.
Yeah, and then in the visual novel Another Sky, which was the League version that visual novel that followed a different team of Star Guardians, they're also referenced. So there you have it. And that's it for AUs.
Yay!
Good job.
Good job.
Y'all want to hear some fun facts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go, folks.
Oh, this is
Wrapping it up.
a lot more than I was expecting.
Well, it's two people.
Okay, I'm fucking sorry.
Rakan is voiced by Ronan Summers, and Xayah is voiced by Layla Pine.
Nice.
And Kane was originally slated to be the big antagonist to Xayah and Rakan.
Oh.
Yeah, he was supposed to be the big bad.
Weird.
The designers specifically said that the influences for Xayah and Rakan include April Ludgate and Andy from Parks and Rec, and Kubo and the Two Strings, and We Can Never Go Home.
I've never seen those other two.
I've seen Kubo. I'd have to think about. I've only seen it once. I don't know about the other one.
I don't know the other one.
And some possible thematics explored for Xayah and Rakan included them being a vampire couple,
Oh
or
shit!
being a storm shaman and storm elemental.
You know I love that shit.
I like.
Oh, I know.
I kind of like both. Let's get more all of those.
All right. We mentioned this a little bit already, but Rakan is confirmed to have ADHD based on his in-game voice lines and short story. This was confirmed by Odin Austin Schaefer, or as he prefers to go in-game, Wargabobo. That's his screen name. Who explained that they indirectly gave Rakan ADHD through piecing parts of their personality together, as well as events from their friends and family, to create him. Their tribe's name, the Lahot Lahan, or Lahot Talan, was named after Lahotl, Vastaya Rishai hero during the war against that big race of titans from the sky that we talked about in the Master Yi episode. Lahotl was apparently a big hero from that time.
Okay, interesting.
Real quick, We Could Never Go Home. I think it's a graphic novel, but it was written by Matthew Rosenberg. Is Rosenberg someone who writes for Legler?
I
Am
think
I
of
high?
Jared Rosen.
Thank you. I'm so sorry.
Mm.
Okay. Anyway,
Matthew, that's Jared Rosen, Matthew Dunn's baby. Matthew Rosenberg.
all right.
So Rakan was originally intended to be 28 in equivalence to human age, and Xayah 23, but due to them being, Vastaya, they are both over a few hundred years old. And they were the first champions released in 2017.
Oh.
And Rakan and Xayah's loading screens will always align themselves to the rightmost side before a game starts when picked on the same team, so that you can mirror their shared splash arts.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah. Rakan and Xayah's cloak are actually their wings, disguised by Vastayan magic in order to blend in with humans. Rakan has the lowest basic attack range amongst all ranged champions at 300 units. And we learned he was ranged while playing Laldl.
I think Laldl just counted him as melee recently.
Oh, did
Which
that?
is
I
good.
can
Yes.
keep
I
track.
never remember. Yeah, it was weird.
Rakan's favorite human food is chocolate, even though chocolate's theobromine may poison Rakan due to his half-bird physiology. His human half may help metabolize the compound and alleviate its effects.
That is one way in which I really related to Rakan, is he was constantly like, where's the chocolate?
Where's the fucking chocolate? I know you've got the chocolate, Zed.
I like
I
the
just slammed my head into
I like the idea that it's poisonous and he's like a dog and Xayah's like, "What's in your mouth? You spit that out right now."
Drop it. Drop it.
Blech.
He just starts chewing more.
Just trying to eat it as fast as possible.
Shit.
Rakan's Dance.
Rakan's Dance references Jailhouse Rock by Elvis Presley. And Xayah and Rakan are also the first champions to feature Ping-related lines. You mentioned this a little bit earlier, Mark, or you alluded to it, but Rakan wears a shoulder pad made from a raptor skull adorned with a couple of Xayah's feathers, and she wears an identical skull adorned with a couple of Rakan's feathers. And in case you're wondering, no, Xayah does not lay eggs. That was a question that came up.
Disgusting. You should be ashamed of yourselves, everybody.
Rakan lays them.
People wanted to know. Xayah is one of 24 champions without a single ability power ratio on any ability.
So that's why Rabadon's is not working on Xayah.
Final fun fact. IG Rakan is the only Rakan skin that does not have an associated Xayah skin.
Yeah, I noticed that when I was looking at the... It's weird. He's so lonely.
Yeah.
All right. That was a long one. So that was Xayah and Rakan, or Rakan and Xayah, rather.
Yeah, Rakan and
not
Xayah.
confuse
Not to
it.
be confused with Xayah and Rakan, which is in the future.
That's going to be an episode of the future, maybe. We'll see what we do for that one. How we feeling? Any final thoughts?
You gone done did it, done.
The consistent quality from the stuff that he's worked on, I will say,
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say I went into it kind of expecting to be a little annoyed or frustrated with it, or maybe with Xayah in particular. Just because, like, I got the sense I was like, man, I feel like it's going to be like this complex problem, and she's going to have this black and white perspective, and they're just going to make her right. But I think they definitely understand what they're grappling with. So I came out of it really liking all of it, I will say.
Yeah.
Yeah, like she definitely has like a black and white perspective of the world, but she's willing to bend when she knows it's important to Rakan. And the stories also kind of make it clear that like it's not always black and white. I definitely liked it. I thought they handled it real well.
And sometimes she is right.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
sometimes
right.
she's not.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Yeah. Yeah. I like them a lot. I'll say I'm a sucker for a side romance or a romance. So it's nice to kind of get one in League because I never do.
Yeah, we don't get any good canon romances.
No, they'll like tease some stuff and all
yeah.
of that. But yeah, I like this. I would like more just like really solid established relationships between champions. We have some sibling ones, which is great. Even just really solid friendships and then more solid romantic relationships. It really grounds them for me. It makes the champions feel more real with each other and just in general. It makes the world feel more real too.
Yeah.
That these very powerful beings know each other. That makes sense.
They
Yeah.
hang out.
Yeah.
They're on LinkedIn.
Do they have like a club? Like no one can kill us club? What is it?
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm very happy with what we got here.
Yeah.
I would read, like, if they decided to give us more, absolutely, I would love that. I'm not disappointed with the amount that we have, but I would love more because
Yeah.
I loved what we got.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like I said earlier, it feels like this is the first, they're setting, it's a lot of setup, and it's like, man, they are primed for a big, like I said, big arc, and do it with Aurelia. I'll say it again because I think that's the way it should go. But,
Yeah. I mean, they've been teasing the second Noxian invasion for a really long time. And I feel like Aurelia is in such a good spot for that. And I don't think that's going to be the next big thing that happens. But
I mean, we've already got the cinematic and everything. Like the fucking, what was it? The Awakened cinematic is like in the middle of that conflict, but that's like
yeah.
no lore has carried past that conflict. Like
Yeah.
that cinematic is the furthest forward in that conflict that I think we have.
I mean, I think even that's
So,
just like a
I want
little,
to learn more about that.
yeah, that's just like a plucked from the future, right? It's just like, hey,
Right.
stick
It
around.
feels like it.
This might happen. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see. But that was Rakan and Xayah. Thank you so much for listening. We have a Twitter. It's @Loreheads. We also have a Twitch, twitch.tv/Loreheads. John's mostly the one streaming there right now. He streams every other weekend. I think it's going to be going back to a normal schedule. Things got a little wonky around the holidays, but
Yeah, we're back, baby.
we're back, baby. We have a YouTube as well where we post these, and John's now posting like shorts with the video. If you ever want to watch some of those are also on our TikTok, which is League of
Which
Loreheads.
now has shit in it.
I know. We had like one random video in there because I heard an audio that sounded like us, and I was like, well, I have to make this.
But now we've got like 10 videos in there.
Yeah, so if you want to leave a review or subscribe to either of these, that's super helpful. We have a Discord, which we talked about a little bit. You can find a link in the description of this episode. And we have a Patreon as well. Thank you so much to all of our patrons.
But a very special thank you to our Medarda tier patrons, Big Man Gnomes, Chloe Things, Kindred Enjoyer, King of Hearts, and Shupamoo Stash. If I were of Astaya and you were human, I would let you run your Quinlans in my land.
Wow.
Which sounds, I feel like it sounds more sexual than
Yeah.
I intended it
I
to.
was gonna say,
Sure.
man.
Yeah. Run him through.
I'd
Run
let
him
you-
right through,
I'd let you
John.
plow my land. Harvest my magics.
Okay, John, you're cut off.
But yeah, also as a quick note, I mentioned in some other episodes, but we're going to start having ads in these. If you have noticed any ads that don't seem like they belong here, let us know. We can set which ads we don't want to have here, but we can't set specifically the ads we do. So if anything weird comes up that seems like it shouldn't be associated with us, fucking let us know. We didn't choose them, and we don't want them there if they're weird. So reach out to us.
Yeah.
Our ultimate goal is to have our own sponsors and being able to do our own sponsor reads one day. So if you know how to do that,
If you're a brand who wants us to do an ad read,
I'll talk about HelloFresh all day.
yeah, I'll talk about how you can Quinlan my magic fields.
Alrighty. And please join us next week because we're gonna talk about the armadillo. Ramus.
Okay.
I hate you, Riot, for making me say armadillo.